get x equals or y equals something.
That's pretty.
Anyways, this is
This is negative 7.
Alright,
He hasn't got it yet.
Alright, this wasn't one of the questions. I seen it on the other page, but it was one of the steps or something like that. But I decided to like figure it out, and then I got stuck because I don't know, it didn't make sense to me.
so what part did you get stuck on?
So how you like sort of mix them together? You go x plus 4y equals 6, and then you put it either side, and you go like that. Then you put the other one, the other equation. This is where I sort of got confused. So and then what I did here is I rewrote it and I flipped that around and I went x plus 4y equals, and then it's basically the same thing here.
I see what happened. I see what happened.
So and then you would distribute, right? You would take y minus y.
Well, first of all, where's the first equation now? Y equals the x plus y. And, well,
you concur?
you really want to get y alone in order to put out the other
Now we know that y equals negative x
So
minus 7. Or x is 7. So we can supplement this.
Negative 4.
Or this.
Right side, right side.
Oh, I can supplement. Now we just supplement this. Or this. You guys ready to do that?
So what questions do you think you guys could ask to help Ariel?
Wait, so try to do this with this.
So I guess when do you start to get the x and y by themselves?
So then having 4y equals and since you already have that equation now, you gotta get rid of the 4 in order to get it alone in order for
She's too quiet. You could probably hear her.
We want to get
Well, since
But what would you divide that by?
well, divide the 4y by 6 and
Should I see the graph?
well separate.
whatever you do this side.
Is this little graph? It does not work.
Where's the plus at?
Like that?
2x plus.
Oh.
Next step
This is all secant world over here.
Sure.
So, what we did.
So that's where you're stuck? Okay.
That leaves the y by itself here.
Oh, interesting.
Just show that good.
Um,
With the x gone,
I have a
we
question.
now have y equals negative 7.
So are you taking that equation and solving it for
Fills in that
x?
empty gap.
Solving it for y.
Or are you solving it for y? I see.
I get that part too. I don't
Because I
get
got x, I just
Okay,
don't have y.
so
Okay, so
there's a y here, right?
my question would be, so where you have x is equal to negative 2 minus y over 2, I can see why that would be confusing, because now you've got, when you substitute it, you've got, okay.
So all you're gonna do is where this y is, you're gonna put in these.
Where you've got 2 times and then the parentheses, negative 2 and the negative y over 2, how do you go from that step to the next step?
So everything stays the same, but instead of.
Okay, so walk me through your distribution.
These numbers that are equal to 1.
2 times negative 2 is negative 4.
Okay?
And minus y.
this 4 kind of like y.
2 times
Isn't
negative
it?
4
Yeah.
over 2.
Not exact.
But I mean like on the top though.
On the top,
Put 2.
y is like.
So you're multiplying, you're multiplying minus y over 2 times 2.
I'm trying to find that x equal.
So I understood where you got the negative 4.
What are you trying to say?
Okay, so can you simplify that
We're gonna
piece
write that
any?
For a second. explain everything first. Do you understand what happened here?
Are we done with this?
Multiply these two.
Okay,
Mhm.
now we can try to solve it. We're on the same page now? Okay. Okay, so.
Okay, so hang on just a second. If you're multiplying, okay, so y over 2 is a fraction. Can you write the number 2 as a fraction?
Easier if we either just combine with them, or we get this out of the way. And we'll make
Not that 2, the 2 you're multiplying by.
Let's do.
Now, how do you multiply those two fractions?
Okay, so it says 2x plus negative x. When you say it out, it kind of makes more sense. You see what I'm saying?
How does that multiply across? If you rewrite your y over 2 so that it looks more like the 2 over 1, yeah, okay, so you've got it, looks like. Yeah, so right, just so that the fractions look the same. There you go.
Combine these, negative 2.
Well, like, yeah, I thought, I didn't see that.
Can you simplify that any?
Yeah.
So for 2 is 1, 0.
All right, so you've got that.
We have positive.
You're going to have another issue in a minute. I'm going to let you find it.
We're gonna go back. Now we have just x, correct? So we have 2x here, right? Look at your number line. We're at 2. Okay, this is 2x. So forth, x, negative 1x. Okay, so 2x plus negative x. So you're gonna go back on the number line, right? You're gonna subtract 1x. So that's gonna make it what? 1x, which is equivalency to what? X by itself, right? 1x is the same thing as just x, right? Yes, so then we would have x equals 3. Okay? Now we're going to use this x, the same thing we did for y here. We're going to supplement this x for right here. So we're going to have 3 plus y equals
So what happens?
So I got negative y plus y. It's negative
Because this x
Okay,
here,
so,
the y.
okay, so here's a question, and this is something that you guys could ask. You're going to be asking yourselves these kind of questions. What I would ask Darnell is, you solved that equation for x and you found x. Where did you plug it back in? To the same equation. Go back to your notes, check your steps, and see if there is a different step you could have taken.
Yes, now we're trying to find the y.
Yes, you're stuck. Okay. Now, what? Let's go to the very, very top. You got x plus 4y equals 6, and then x plus y equals 3. I see, then just below that, I see 3 equal signs. Why do we have 3 equal signs?
Wait, where at? Right here?
Yeah, and then the line, and then I see 3 equal signs, and I'm
I
curious.
mixed these.
Okay, so
I memorized,
what I would like you to do is get the notes out and check what step 1 is. Because I think if we go back to there, we might find it. Got your notes? Got your notes? Jackie. Step 1 should be solve one of the equations for one variable.
That was
and then
the 3 plus
substitute
x.
it. Where at?
The 3 plus x. The x plus y equals 3.
It would end up being y equals 3 minus x. Take him back.
Oh, okay.
Go back. So I see where you got this 3 plus x, right? So the equation that it looks like you're starting with is really x plus y equals 3. Erase what you have, please. At least the 2 lines in blue that you've got there going up to the 3 plus x. Yeah, so just erase those 2 lines of stuff. And it looks like you were trying to solve the second equation for x, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, so the second equation is x plus y equals 3. You want it to look like x equals something, yeah? Right now, you're adding y to x. How do you get x by itself? How do you isolate it so that it's on one side and the y is not on that side with it?
you switch it.
So talk to me, what does switch mean?
So like, hold on.
Probably subtract.
So would you subtract x from 3?
If you do that, you would be solving for y, and that's perfectly acceptable.
Oh, then it's the other way around. You subtract y from 3.
Okay, so let's try it, see what it looks like. Okay, so what does it look like when you rewrite that equation?
So for me, I felt like I know that we have it for 2 points. I know that.
All right. So then the next question is, now that you have that, what do you do with it? What do you do with it now? Check your notes and see what step,
Okay.
it's either step 2 or step 3, check it.
So substitute.
Are you guys done? Did you, was everything, because I missed it. So what kinds of questions did you guys ask?
That's where you would say find the block.
Questions. I just asked
So
them.
you went up there and walked her through it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you had not had Aries there to walk you through it, what kinds of things, what kinds of tools do you have available to help you answer that if you didn't have somebody there walking you through the steps? Notes? What else?
That's how there's an X equals or Y equals. It's
Good.
the other side of the equation.
As you go back and you look at your homework or at the notes, do you see some of the steps that he took? Does it match what you've got in your notes? Okay. All right, so that's the whole idea of this, is making sure that somebody could do it on their own without somebody right there helping them. So the questions that you guys are asking each other lead them to finding the answer, and not, because trust me, I totally get the temptation to walk up and go, okay, this is what you do. It's really hard not to do that, especially when you know what to do. All right, but you got the help that you needed, and you're all good to go. So have you already had your tutorial on this, or is that later? Yeah. You already had it already? Oh, cool. Nice.
Realistic, perfect goal. You wouldn't do that until after you've shown. Until you've presented.
So,
Like me, now that I go sit down, I can start filling out the back right away till then because I've shown.
Also, we all do this each.
Yeah, we're all supposed to do it. So I can show that I can answer these questions because I've already went through and people to help me solve this out. Does that make sense? So
All right,
realistically, you should
Darnell,
do that until you
let me
present.
just ask. So where are you at now?
So now I put X into the other equation.
Okay?
And now
You don't have to listen.
You got that. What were your 2 original equations, Darnell?
they were 2x plus y equals -4, then x plus y equals -7.
Will you write x plus y equals -7 over there on the left? So one of my questions would be, because I think we're going to wrap up here in a minute, so you may not have it done. But one of my questions would be, what was your thinking behind deciding on that equation to solve for x?
Wait,
Oh, so
since I have to.
here, so
Yeah. Why did you choose to do it that way? Why did you choose to try and solve that for x?
I thought it
You
was
don't know.
easier.
Keep it just like that. 'Cause that's all you do.
now there should
That is
be,
what will help.
Yeah, if I
Does
was
that make
something y,
sense?
I would have started out by dividing.
You don't know where to go from there.
Subtracting
That's
2x
perfect.
and then
Keep it like
So
that.
my suggestion is actually to try it that way.
Like a roll, you need a.
Because, yeah, because what happens is you've got this funky y over 2 that you're carrying forward to everything. So now you got this fraction that you've got to deal with.
All you have to do here is
If
stay.
you were to solve it for a variable whose coefficient is 1,
So just
it's
write
going to be a
out.
lot easier to plug it into things because you don't have the big fraction
On the
happening.
left side and the right
It's
side.
just a suggestion. And I think, all right, so we've got about 2 more minutes and I want you to wrap it up. Those of you who are finished, will you please turn your paper over to the other side and do the reflection part. So even if you didn't present, even if you didn't fill out your form, you can at least get some credit for the reflection part. So answer those questions. Make sure your name is on it. When you're done, you're going to turn it into my basket.
So what, do I divide? I'll put 5y. Do I divide it by 5y?
You divide
Yes.
it on both sides
Yeah.
by 5y. So why you put the rest of that 5y?
I dare you to put that in a microwave.
Huh?
I dare you to put that in a microwave.
My microwave blew up.
Y equals 0.4. Is that the answer?
I have a question.
Me too. How do you?
Right here. First of all, when we add y, we'd add it to both sides of the equation. So the y would be added here and over here, not here and here.
Oh.
The other thing is, if you're gathering like terms, what's minus 1 plus 4?
3.
3. Is that going to make it easier when you get down here? Maybe a little bit? This should be 3.
Oh.
And Right now you're adding 3. What's the opposite of adding 3?
Subtract.
Not divide.
Oh, that's because we
Subtract.
did all that. And then,
Subtract. That's going to change your answer, and it's going to make a little bit more sense. Yeah?
yeah.
So you're on the right track. What we've come down to now is inverse operations. How do they happen? Where do you do it? That's what you have to work on. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and have you stop that there, if that's okay.